breakfast. I have two sandwiches sitting there for me to eat, but I want to have a smell.
Money and dating and all the issues that arise from that. Hey, you're getting a wheel, Groovy.
Oh, Jean Paul, thank you. Thank you, Jean Paul. I love you.
Yeah, we're trying to do something that's different. We came up with it when we were really stoned. So we're just seeing if it works. And so far it's working. So what's up, William Make a Million?
Yeah, I'll have to check all the rest of the messages later. Here's the. How does it sound for me? Let me hear this real quick. Boom, 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 boom,
Next
boom,
week.
boom.
We'll fix it for next week.
May not be. He may not be.
But it's not copyright, I don't think.
Emoji J, are you still here? Thank you, Jean Paul, for the wheel. Emoji J, are you here? He's the one to ask. I'm thinking about doing that group, that little group, the Tahitian group.
I liked the shaman one better. The deeper sounding.
Yeah, me too. Okay, Jean Paul, thank you, baby. He says you're welcome. I don't think Emoji J's here. We're being recorded already, so we should probably get started.
Okay.
We're only at 33 views right now. That's not bad already, though, for just starting. All right, so here's my music. How's it sound? Too loud? Too quiet?
A little quieter.
Good. How's that sound when I'm talking? Can you still hear me talking?
Yes.
Okay, good. And I want to be able to hear you and the guys too, so it's perfect. Okay. Okay. All right. So, if we're ready to start, I'm almost. I gotta turn the lights off right now. Hang on. Gotta turn these lights off. Get in the mood. All right. I think everything's on. I think we're ready to go. It's a go, yo. All right. Is everybody ready? Are all of our barflies here? Put a 1 in the comments if you're one of the 3 barflies.
Kitty's here.
1 barfly. Hi, evil
Hey,
butterfly.
butterfly. Sorry.
Where's our other 2 barflies?
Besh. Sergio, you're not a barfly.
Oh, he's not a barfly? He's gonna be a barfly a little bit. Ah.
John Paul. Besh. Johnny B. Are y'all here?
Is Johnny B here?
There they are.
Johnny B's here. Okay, so our butterfly, our barflies are here. Okay, so I'm ready. You ready, Ash?
I'm ready.
All right. Aloha.
And hola.
Welcome to Groovy and Ash's Babecave.
Babecave. Sorry.
Save party and show. It's like being a fly on the wall in the ladies' room.
So roll your joints, mix your drinks, and pop your popcorn.
You're about to enter no man's land in the ladies' room as a fly on the wall. Now let's welcome our barflies, shall we? First and foremost, we have fly number 1, best friends first. Come on in, best friends. Hello there. How are you doing, best friends?
Great, but there's flies all over the place.
And now he's a fly on the wall. He can't talk yet till we free him up, everybody. Now he's stuck listening to the ladies' room and has nothing to say until we free the barflies. Go ahead, Ash. Why don't you go ahead and introduce our next contestant?
Our second barfly is Desh. How you doing, Dash?
How's everybody?
Thanks for coming.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome, Dash. And now you're officially a barfly. You don't get to say anything until we free you up.
Yeah.
Third but last and not least, we have our third barfly, Johnny B. Welcome, Johnny B. Everybody please favorite our barflies right away so you don't forget. Favorite Ash and favorite me on Groovy's Beach. And this is our show. We've worked hard on it, and we hope everybody enjoys it. How are you doing, Johnny B?
Oh, doing well. How are y'all doing?
You snuck into the ladies' room, so hopefully you
My
get,
second time today.
hopefully you get some good feedback. Here we go. Now you're quiet. All right, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. We also call this a fave party. This is the Babecave fave party and show. The reason we're saying that is we want everyone to get favorites while we're doing the show as well. So if you guys want to start favoriting each other, all you have to do is write their name in the commenting section, and we expect them to fave you back. So fave each other while we're doing the show as well. All right. We don't read the comments really very often when we're doing the show, but we might go ahead and bring in other flies. You never know. We might add flies to the show or bring you in the following week. Okay, here we go. You will be hearing top secret conversations, opinions, experiences, stories, and facts from the ladies in the ladies' room.
Then you'll have the opportunity to hear the male barfly's perspective, stories, opinions, and presumptions.
So right now, we're going to start the show with a positive energy booster.
Never be defined by your past. It was just a lesson, not a life sentence.
Never be defined by your past. It was just a lesson, not a life choice, not a life, what was the word? A decision, was it? I'm not sure.
I think it's
Anyway,
decision.
Here we go. So, Ash, how was your day at work?
I didn't work today. I actually had the day off.
Oh, how
So it was
lovely.
wonderful.
You look fabulous this evening.
Thank you. So do you.
Thanks. So you got any plans coming up soon?
Not really. Just the holidays and trying to get through them and seasonal depression.
Well, guess what I just did? I just went on a date.
No, what happened?
Well, all kinds of questions come to surface when you're going to go on a date, right? You gotta wonder, you go Dutch, does the guy buy, does the girl buy? There's so many questions. So I thought maybe you might be interested in talking about some of the questions.
You know I would.
So how do you feel? Should a guy buy or should it be Dutch? Or should the girl buy? What do you feel about that?
Well, honestly, in my opinion, it's like whoever asks, does the asking of the date, should be the primary possible bill payer, but then also if the guy offers, that's great, whatever. But generally, I like it where it's whoever asks, is doing the asking. Thank you.
I love it. That's, what, I'm a firm believer in the same thing. That's actually how I feel. I feel if the girl asks the guy on the date, then I should pay. If the guy asks the girl on the date, then he should pay. Unless he says he's broke, he would love to take me out, but he can't afford to. And then I could throw something out like, why don't we go Dutch? I'll pay for myself, you pay for yourself, right?
Or go to the park or, cheap date.
Come up with a cheap date. Absolutely. So, how do you feel if you go on a date and the guy busts out coupons, Ashley? Because for me, I think that's the number one big no-no on a first date.
Yeah, on a first date, if you have to be busting out coupons, you might as well go for a walk in the park or something cheap, something that's fun but doesn't cost a lot of money. Instead of busting out coupons, that's just a little bit weird.
I feel like if you knew somebody already, then they could say, hey, I got a coupon for Applebee's. You want to go on a date to Applebee's with the coupon? And then it's like, well, sure, let's do it. But if you're just on a date at Applebee's and you pull out a coupon when it's time to pay the bill, shame. Like,
Yes.
embarrassing. You look so poor, like you're not going to be able to provide for her, and I think that is a turnoff. What do you think about that, Ash?
I 1000% agree. 1000%.
Yeah. All right. What about trust? Do you trust your date?
Depends on what with. I mean, with my purse, no. My purse always goes with me. My drink
I gotta
always
be
goes with
good.
me.
I forget to leave those. I leave those things behind because I'm too trusting. So that's good. I really need to work on that, remembering keep my purse with me and don't leave my drink unattended. Or
Right.
slam it before you go.
Right. There's also those things you can put on your drink called drink condoms.
Oh no.
I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but you put them over your drink, and that way you can tell if it's been tampered with while you were away. So,
Well, hey, I'm thinking that we ought to see what the bar flies have to say about going Dutch, about coupons, and about trusting your date when you're on your date. What do you think? Should we check with the bar flies, Ash?
I think it's time.
All right, let's listen to what the bar flies have to say.
I just took a shower. I just
Put on new cologne.
What's up, bar flies?
how's it going?
It's going fabulous. So what's your feedback on what you guys overheard in the ladies' room?
Yeah, I think. I mean, you can't really. I don't know. I mean, you're the guy. You got to ask the girl out on a date, right? Like, girl asking me out on a date, right?
So what if you're in the grocery store and a girl approaches you and says, I think you're really handsome. Would you like to go out sometime?
Yeah, but then I set the date. I'm like, yeah.
So you're
cool.
old
So let me
fashioned.
grab drinks Friday at wherever, you know.
I asked her when the last time was that she had her glasses checked.
I feel as if any other party is spending their money, that the other participating person, should not have any opinion about how they spend their money.
Yeah. I like I like it when a girl's
I
like
don't understand. What do you
like
mean?
if a girl offers to pay, like to split it, I'm like, oh, I appreciate that, but I'll take care of it. Like I don't feel comfortable. Maybe I'll be like, if we get dinner or something, I'll be like, oh, I'll take care of this if you want to get the tip or something. Maybe
Right.
the most.
That's
like
cool.
But,
That's cool.
yeah.
I like that, where the girl can pay the tip. You know, that makes sense.
So it's something. It's not like, you know, it's.
So what if you guys are broke and you want to go out with the girl? What do you do then?
I would never go out with a woman if I was broke.
Yeah, you never go out.
So you would just stay single.
If you're broke, get your ass to work.
Exactly.
Make some money. Don't be going on a date, right?
You know, you get into a relationship. Relationships cost money. Going out on
Yes.
dates.
What if you go out on a date with a girl and she's got a lot of money and she takes the bill, sees the bill first? Oh, we'll talk about that later.
I'm 33. I'm still waiting on that, but maybe someday. That'd be wonderful.
How about coupons, guys? How do you feel about busting out a coupon on your date?
Ooh,
That's an immediate.
No.
Yeah, that's
No,
not a.
no.
Yeah, I don't think
such a
any
nice-
woman finds that sexy.
Sean?
Oh, let me.
Coupons were such a nice thing. Somebody went and made their time to make those coupons to be used.
Right.
Is my opinion about that.
So you would bust a coupon out on a first date?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't, but nobody should be shamed because they used one.
No.
Really?
You shouldn't.
I
but-
think later on, if you've been dating for a while, then maybe she appreciates that you're good with your money. But yeah, you can't do that early on date. It just it's not a hot look for sure. I don't.
So what did you guys think about what the ladies were talking about, their outlook on the coupons, when I said that if you do it on the first date, shame on you, but if you talk about it before the date, or if you talk about it for the second date's always your best bet. it's a great way to bring in a second date. Like, hey, I have a coupon for this place if you'd like to come back again next week.
Have guys used that with you? Does that work?
Yeah, as long as it's a great way to get a second date.
Yeah.
And still be thrifty. It's a way to use your coupon without showing you're cheap.
I gotta step up my coupon game.
Do they make those?
Are you free by Thursday? Because I have this coupon that's gonna be expiring.
I don't know about expiring.
You remember those entertainment books that were nothing but coupons? You bought them for like
what was it called? Yeah, the
entertainment book is what.
entertainment.
Yeah.
It's like $50 and you get it's over
You like free movie
$100,000
ticket.
of savings.
Well, I've had some fun times in relationships after a first date. Whatever, where we can't figure out what we want to eat, and we would take the entertainment book and just open it up and go, oh, okay, there's 50 different places that we've never gone to. Let's try.
These are different ideas. Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure.
Yeah, coupons can be exciting, but definitely not on a first date. That sends a message that somebody's a little tight with money a little bit, but if you make it kind of fun, let's try this coupon or that.
Yeah. Just not on a first date.
But if you pull it out on a first date and she doesn't know you, it's like
run.
If you whip out the coupon on the first date, that's all you'll be whipping out that evening. I almost 100% guarantee.
That's accurate.
that's when you say.
Just having dinner, like just boom, whip out my coupon book.
So,
yeah. Let me say that.
All right, so and the last
If you use
thing
a
we
coupon,
spoke
you gotta
about
comment.
before we mute our barflies. What about trusting your purses and your drinks with a first time date? Do you guys go to the restroom and take your drinks, or are you worried she might spike it? And how do you feel if she takes her drinks and she takes her purse with her when she leaves your table?
That's probably a sign that the date's not going tremendous. Yeah.
Even though it's the first date, you expect a woman to trust you that much?
A girl felt like she had to take her drink or her purse.
I always do.
On a date.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Even if the date's going well, I always take it.
So does that mean
I'm not saying it's anything wrong with that, but yeah.
You what, girl?
I've never had that experience.
How about our other barflies?
A girl will usually say, sorry. A girl will usually say, hey, can you watch my drink? Because they trust,
That would be a
something.
boyfriend or girlfriend, though, wouldn't it? Or someone you've known for a little while? But a first date?
The first date, they make the same kind of stupid jokes. Be like, oh, is my drink safe? You're not going to do something? And I'm like, yeah.
Deshaun and best friends, how do you guys feel about that?
I feel like that's a very safe move. I feel like that's the right thing to do, is to take your drink or finish your drink or take your purse with you to the restaurant.
Agreed.
If you're sitting at the bar having a drink, you're going to take your drink and your purse.
That would be like
kind of weird.
In the bathroom, taking your wallet out and leaving it on the table and not taking it with you in the bathroom. You wouldn't want to leave your wallet with your new date.
Yes, I would do the same
first
thing.
thing. I
wouldn't just leave my
wallet. The first thing isn't a big deal. But it's like, all right, well,
actually,
I'm going to take my drink. I don't know. It just seems kind of awkward to me.
I like to leave my credit bureau report on the table when I go to the bathroom for a first date. Or a bank statement. Here we go.
I'll leave my drink, but I take my coupon book with me because there's over $100,000 in savings. Yeah. And they're
Ashley.
Yes, ma'am.
So, how did your date go?
Oh, man, it was terrible. It was terrible.
Did he ask if he could borrow money?
He asked me to fill up his gas tank after paying for breakfast. Yeah.
So, so at what point do you loan somebody money?
Oh, man. That to me is something that should only happen between people who are in a committed long-term relationship or are married. that money should ever be exchanged in large quantities.
Right? How do you know at what point though? So you would wait till marriage? You wouldn't like, what if you've been going out with someone for 3-4 months already?
No, I still wouldn't do it.
Still don't, right? You still don't ask to borrow money, right? If you need to borrow money, you should borrow money from like family members.
Exactly.
Or, yeah. I
It gets
understand.
complicated in relationships. When there's a person borrowing money and there's money to be paid back, then there's tension.
So you mentioned that he took you to the movies. How did you feel about going to the movies on a first date? Is that a
Horrible.
good first date choice?
No way. You can't even talk. You're stuck in this movie theater, and you're all gassy from dinner,
That'd be such a bad thing.
right? No cameras, hopefully. No, but you can't even talk. Like you're there for 2 hours, just sitting next to each other.
Uh-huh.
What are you supposed to be doing? It makes no sense.
Exactly. I feel the same way. Yes, a movie is getting out and doing something, but there's zero conversation. There's just
Exactly.
lack of communication, lack of getting to know each other. It's something to do with somebody, but it would be more like girlfriends or long-term boyfriend, girlfriend. It wouldn't be a good way to get to know a new person.
Right.
So what do you think? Let's ask the barflies what they think about first dates and movies, shall we?
Go for it.
All right, best friends, tell us what you think about best friends, the barfly. Oh, wait, hold on. We are in the ladies' room.
A movie
So, what do you think?
is never a first date. Definitely never. Always a quiet restaurant or a club, maybe even a comedy club. Yeah. No, but someplace really quiet to talk is always best for your first date.
I think the movie can be good, but you do movie, then dinner, so you have something to talk about. You watch a movie, then you have some, but you definitely don't want to do dinner or drinks, then movie.
All right.
A movie's not a first date idea. It's not a date idea at all, to be honest with you.
So, what would you flies think are good first dates?
A dinner or wine tasting, or something that you can communicate over.
Exactly.
And what if it turns out where you're not interested and now you're stuck going through a whole dinner and paying for a whole dinner?
That's why I never do dinner or first date. Yeah.
You
You
know,
do coffee or drinks, so if it's going well, it can go longer. If it's not, you're in and out.
Yeah.
You're not committed
part of the
for like
thing
a whole
about
dinner or a movie.
part of the thing about first dates is you're both on equal ground, kind of thin ice, not quite sure what you want to do, how you feel about each other, whatever. So that's why on a first date, one of the most important things that you do is agree on the same thing that you really feel comfortable most.
It's
doing.
what?
Is there somebody playing something in the background? Or
Yeah, we want that though. Go ahead. What, best friend?
It's that you both agree on something that you feel the most comfortable with doing together. So
Right.
it's not a threatening thing.
Okay.
You can bail. If it's just
I'm going to disagree. Let me talk to Ash for a moment. Ashley.
Yes, ma'am.
I think, back in the ladies' room, I was wondering, with you, do you like it when a guy asks you out and then he asks you, where do you want to go? Because I
Absolutely.
can't stand that.
It drives me nuts.
I can't
Like-
stand that. It's a big faux pas. It's a big no-no. Don't ask her where she wants to go. If you're going to invite me on a date, you come up with a date.
Exactly.
Do you feel the same way too?
Whoever does the asking should be the core person in the planning. And whatever you do, if the girl asks the guy, she should come up with the ideas. Maybe when she comes up with a few ideas, maybe give him some options like, hey, we could go to dinner or we could do this or that. Which one would you prefer? That I can get down with. But just say, hey, what do you want to do? It's like they're not even putting effort.
We let the barflies talk once in a while. By the way, everybody, thanks for coming to Groovy and Ash's
Babecave.
where you're a fly on the wall in the girls' bathroom. We allow the boys to come be flies on the wall and listen to what the girls have to say in the ladies' room. Also, it's the it's the Babecave fave party. Be sure you guys are favoriting everybody and you're favoriting each other in the commenting section. Write each other's names in there and they'll refave you back. I see y'all in there, so be sure you guys talk to each other and fave each other. All right, so let's hear what the guys have to say about us thinking that they should plan the date and don't ask. I bet they all ask their date, where do you want to go? What do the barflies do?
Well, we're not as selective or picky about where we go or what we do. So it's usually up to the woman and what she likes. It would be better. So she wouldn't just be bitter and just doing it just because you've already planned it. It'll be more,
So you would ask the girl what she wants to do?
100%.
I would offer
To me, it shows effort if you come up with the idea, if you ask me out. You know what I mean?
I think that what you gotta do is like you're chatting.
Wait a second, Johnny, best friends, give
Yeah,
me a sit down.
we always make things more difficult for ourselves than it needs to be. Whether you want to have a discussion about it, you want to make sure everybody's comfortable with the whole idea. It could say, let's go to the skydiving place, and you're going to go, sorry, don't want to do skydiving. Let's go to a comedy club. I'm not so happy about comedy club.
Okay, well, I think if you have a good woman, whatever you plan, she would be cool enough and game to do it all.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
And happy with it. If you plan a date and she's giving attitude or not happy with it, then that's not a good woman to have.
Okay.
That's a sign.
That's the red flag.
Johnny B, what do you think, Johnny B?
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think if a woman's really into you, she's like, even if it's not her thing, she'd be like, oh yeah, I'll do it, because she digs you, right? But I think the way to go is you're kind of chatting a little bit before, right? So you feel her out. I'm thinking, okay, she's into this or not into that. So, okay, she's into
Bowling.
music. So hey, or I like this kind of. We're talking about music. Oh well, so and so's playing Thursday night. Okay, she's gonna, she's into that, so it's a good date. I'm not, oh, what would you like to do? I'm actively listening, I'm paying attention. You're into this kind of thing. Let's do a date that's based around that, right?
Yeah, and there's another option. You can always allow her to say, you could even say, look, this is what, this is what I've got planned for us for tonight. And if you'd like, you could plan the next date.
I'd like to
Or just
say one thing about a comment that somebody just wrote. Gelatinous said, anywhere is a good date if the guy is fun to be around. That's not necessarily just the guy, it's the woman as well.
Yes.
So it's not always about what you're doing. It's the person that you're doing
it with.
Absolutely.
You could make
But first dates when you don't really know somebody, a first date is a little sketchy when you don't know somebody. What if you've been chatting briefly on Instagram and all of a sudden you want to go out with this person and just to meet in person, but you don't know the person,
Right. I mean, it'd be like something where, like, if you're talking to somebody, they're like, oh, I'm in active recovery. Like, you're not going to be like, oh, why don't we grab a drink? Or,
Yeah.
You kind of want to have it tailored to their interests. But I would never, I agree with you, Groovy. Like, I would never ask women, where would you like to go? Or, like, when I set a date, I'm always like, hey, are you free? What's your schedule like? Are you free Friday? Or, like, let's grab drinks Friday night. If she says no, yes, she's like, oh, I'm busy.
Ladies in the ladies' room. Put a 1 in the comments if you ladies believe that the man should plan the date.
I think it's definitely a preference thing. I think some women like to be more in charge.
If you ladies prefer that the man plan your first date, put a 1 in the comments. If you think that the man should ask the woman where she wants to go and have her plan the first date, put a 2 in the comment. Co-planning. So 1 and a 2 for Kit Kat.
I think it's definitely a preference.
Yeah, that's what
Well, I mean,
I'm saying.
let's put it this way: if the woman wants to plan the date, she'll ask you out on a date, right?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I
For a
was
guide, I mean, you don't have to really.
Yeah,
good or bad.
you know?
So,
Interesting.
you know,
Any more comments from the barflies? Uh-oh. Time to meet the barflies. Back to the bear cave. Here we go. All right.
Exactly, Kit Kat. Read what Kit Kat just wrote.
I don't want a guy to be lazy and leave it all up to me. I want effort. Facts. Facts. Facts.
That's what I look for, is that effort.
And she also said she's all for co-planning. So Kit Kat Love, what's their that's kind of 2 differences. You want the effort, so you would like it if he gave you a couple ideas, like if he came up with a couple ideas and then offered them to you and you could pick what sounds good out of his ideas. Is that
Right.
correct? Because there is also going bowling, there's going to like Top Golf, there's going miniature golfing, go-kart racing, action.
Concerts.
There's lots of fun activities that are way more fun than just sitting watching a movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ashley, I went on a date and this guy was on his cell phone. It was so rude. So I went ahead and jumped on mine and went ahead and put my wall up and put my phone out as well. How do you feel about being on phones when you're on dates?
Big no-no. Big
Huge,
no-no.
right? Huge no-no.
If you see him on his phone while he's on his first or second or even third date with you, that means he ain't there. He ain't interested.
Exactly.
He would have total focus on you.
Exactly. Now, a phone is I think that the phone is a good check-in in case you need to escape your date.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you have one of your girlfriends or one of your guy friends call your phone, maybe once an hour, just to touch base or send you a quick text. And so if you want to get out, you can look at your phone and respond, call me in 5 minutes or something. Use that as your escape plan. I've done that before.
I have too. There's even apps that you can download that will give you a fake phone call that you can pretend to answer.
Very cool. I didn't know that. Did anybody else know that? Put a thumbs up, Barflies. You guys are there's apps that can give you fake calls to get out of a date. Deshaun is the only one that knew that. I didn't know they did that. All right, so here's another thing I want to talk about. What are some other escape routes?
Well, there's always the ditch. I need to go to the restroom and just walk out the front
Speaking
door.
of ditching, Ashley, speaking of ditching, that's exactly what I was going to bring up. How do you feel about the no-shows? Because I've heard some of my male friends mention that they've had girls and girls have had guys that were absolute no-shows on a date or that showed up really late. How do you feel about that? Isn't that wrong?
That just shows a complete disrespect for your time.
And then the girl gives them another try? No. One and done.
Exactly.
One no-show, you couldn't pick up the phone and cancel your date with me, you're out. There is no try two.
Exactly. Unless it's like they had like their parent died or something happened huge.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I've had, a guy say, I'm gonna come see you, I'm gonna come see you. And he'll say it for weeks and he'll say he asked off of work and then the weekend of when I start trying to figure out things to do, oh, I got scheduled at work. I'm like, say what? You didn't ask off.
So you were telling me the other day, Ashley, that you were wanting to go on a date with this guy that lived really, really far. He was willing to drive really, really far. How far is too far for distance dating?
It all depends on if the person's willing to move, both parties. If both of them have in their mind that, hey, I would be willing to come there and live there once we establish something, I don't mind distance. But if it's just like getting to know each other and it's and it's casual, I ain't gonna go very far.
See, and for me, I want to be able to hold hands when I walk through Walmart and just run down the road and talk about it together. So I really want to date someone close to me, unless he's like, he works far, he has to work and travel, then I have to get used to that. But can he afford to fly over and see me on the regular?
Right.
Can he or not? Because I don't want to date somebody long distance on the phone.
No, yeah, you'd have to be able to travel.
Yeah. Okay, let's hear what the Barflies had to say about using the cell phone, escape routes, and distance.
I've never ditched on a date. No matter how terrible it was, I always just plowed through the couple hours or whatever it took to make sure that that it ended on a good note. Not, oh, he just disappeared and left me God knows where, or here I am with the bill. What do I do? I've always gotten Saturday dinner or whatever the experience was, and I was polite. The next day I said, well, I really appreciate you coming out with me last night, but I just didn't quite feel it. I've always learned to be a gentleman, and I, at this age, I still am a gentleman, even though some people think being a gentleman is.
Well, what we're asking you actually is in regards to using your cell phone on a date.
Never, ever. When I go on a date, I turn my cell phone off.
Yeah.
All
Never.
three of you agree with each other?
Absolutely.
All the
If you want to check your phone, do it when you go to the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, very rude. It's kind of like if you're on a date or you're talking to somebody, they're like, oh, they check their watch. It's like, it's just fucking rude. It's not.
Or keep looking off in the distance at something else, or.
Body language.
Yeah, that is brave.
That is very brave, Kit Kat.
Deshaun, what about you?
Yeah. Cell phones are 100% inappropriate at the table.
I like how Johnny said go to the bathroom to use your cell phone. That's a good idea. Yeah. What about an escape route, Deshaun? Have you ever had to escape a date or had a date escape you or do no-shows? How do you feel about that?
I've never had to use an escape route, but I've definitely had no-shows, and that was very annoying.
So you've had girls blow you off?
100%.
And did you ever give them another try?
No, ma'am. One and done.
What about you, Johnny and Bess?
I've never had no shows, but I always confirm. Like, all right, we're going on a date. I'd be like, all right, well, I'll hit him up earlier that day, or I'm on my way, because I don't want that to happen. It's like, if you don't hit me back, I'm not even gonna fucking leave my house. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of like, all right, well, check in. But yeah, I've never had that happen. I couldn't imagine a second date if somebody flaked on me completely. Yeah. It'd have to be something where it seemed really earnest, that they got in an accident or something. I'd have to really,
no go.
Not a great start for sure.
Yeah. What about you, Bess?
I was kind of trying to date a woman on our time for a while. We talked for a good long time, and we agreed that we were going to do a Starbucks interrogation, and on there, and I knew she liked flowers, so I brought some special flowers for her, and the complete different woman shows up.
Oh my God.
Tall, different color.
And a complete different woman, what?
Complete different woman shows up for the date with me than who I was talking to. It turned out it was this woman's girlfriend. She had cold feet and didn't have the cojones to tell me that she had cold feet, so she sent her girlfriend instead. And guess what? I went through the Starbucks interrogation with the girlfriend, gave her the flowers, and that was it. And I said, okay, I'm a gentleman. I'm a gentleman. So there still are some gentlemen out there.
I am myself too. I probably would sit through it, but it's like, what? That's crazy.
What do you guys think about distance? I keep forgetting to hold it up.
No deal.
much.
For dating, no.
It's difficult. It's just one more roadblock. You know, the more mileage, the higher the wall.
No.
Yeah.
It's a no-go.
It's like if it's over half an hour drive,
If she ain't in my county, it ain't gonna work.
Eventually, somebody's got to drive somewhere and end up somewhere. So, you know, like Dash said, if she's not in the county, roughly 30 miles. We call those geographically desirable or geographically undesirable.
It's like real estate, right?
Yeah.
Location.
To me, if they're special enough, just like Kit Kats just said, if they're like phenomenal, because I am looking for something just phenomenal, extravagant, just beautiful, and I might not find that person where I live, and I don't want to narrow my scope to just 30 miles radius,
So
I think that's definitely a factor too. Is like if you live in a less populated area, or you're in a small, it's like fuck. Then you got to date outside, but I feel like it kind of put too much pressure on too early. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what's up, Dash?
Groovy made a point, and she said that would the guy be willing to travel? So if you find a love, or you find your match, and it turns out to be a long distance relationship, should it be only on the man to travel for?
Not always, but the first time, yes.
Right now, I wouldn't have enough flow to constantly be flying somewhere on the regular. So that's why I said the guy.
Okay.
And for me, I want to be in my hometown, where my home is, where I feel safe, and my family, so that if this person turns out to be a creep, like just happened to me, I'm able to escape, and they can just drive their butt home. I don't care.
Can you go Dutch on that and just like meet, like if you're on the West Coast, East Coast?
Not on a first or second or even third, no. The woman needs to feel safe. Absolutely.
I agree.
I love to travel, too. And Hurricane, I would travel anywhere. But for the first few, for the woman to get to know the guy and meet him and know he's not a creep.
I didn't know. Yeah,
Actually, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Oh, wrong way. There's flies in here. Do you see the flies? There's some flies.
Yeah.
You see them?
They're everywhere, dude.
There's 3 flies on the wall. I see them over there. You see them?
I see them.
What kind of a clean bathroom is this?
I'm telling you.
At what point we're talking about getting intimate? At what point does a woman and a man decide to be intimate together if they just met on the first date? I mean, what if you're not into the guy? If you're totally into him, do you take him home that night? If you let him in at the front door? If you're not into him, how do you shoot him down? Do you shoot him down graciously? Do you just kind of end the date abruptly? What do you do? So how about you? What do you think about these?
It depends. Was he a gentleman? If he was a gentleman throughout the date and I just wasn't feeling it, I would step up and say, listen, I'm sorry, hon. I don't feel like this is going to work as a romantic connection, but definitely as a friend's connection. But if they're a jerk.
Friend zone for me.
Yeah. If they're a jerk or a creep, I have no problem just cutting them off. I will tell them and just be like, listen, no, I'm done. This date is over. That's what I had to do a couple weekends ago. It's just
I had to call the police on my date the last time I went on a date.
For what?
He insisted he was going to rape me. I ended up calling the police from the restaurant. And the cops stayed there with him until I was able to get my food and take it to go.
Yeah. At least you got your food.
I really haven't been on a date since then. It was a nightmare. I've been scared to go on a date ever since, to be honest with you. I met him on Plenty of Fish, too. All right, so that's how you shoot him down, right? Okay. What about, let's see. Let's hear what the barflies have to say about that.
Feel like if anything is to happen after that day, you have to know if you're compatible at every single stage in a relationship. So there's nothing wrong with going home on the first night.
You mean getting some on your first date?
That too.
I agree, Dash.
You know
Why
what?
not?
The first thing that a person notices about another person is their pheromones, and then it's what they look like. So you're either attracted through the physical or the visual or whatever,
Or the mental?
or mental. Exactly.
Yeah.
There are those people who are sapiosexual. They're attracted highly to somebody's intelligence. Ooh, right? So
Yeah.
there's that magic going
That's
on.
how I get laid.
But for me, I'm into PDAs, public displays of affection. So for me to see, how that compatibility is just as easy as holding somebody's hand. And you find out right then and there. You just kind of hold their hand, and if they pull their hand away, they're uncomfortable. Or just
Yeah.
ask and say, hey, I'm really kind of feeling it. Would you mind terribly if I hold your hand? Right? You see, these are the ways by asking. If you ask, you find out what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and you don't offend a person, because first dates are as awkward as enough. So that's why it's so important that you spend enough time on the phone or texting or Facebooking or anything, whatever, back and forth, where you feel comfortable enough to go out on that date. Not
How
just
about you, Deshaun?
Yeah, I wouldn't. It's not expected, but if you want anything else to happen further than that, I feel like you should know if you're going to be able to be compatible at every single stage in the relationship.
Johnny, how about you?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of being present in the date, reading someone's body language, how they're feeling. You can kind of just read your way through a situation.
So
Like, I wouldn't.
Isn't she a slut if she gives it up on the first day?
Absolutely not.
Just because
No,
you want
I never.
someone.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's. Yeah, it's not uncommon. I mean, it's probably more common than it used to be, or I don't know, but
we're in a
not
whole
that big of a deal.
world now.
Sex.
If all you're looking for is sex, you can go to Tinder, Bumble, all these other sites just to have sex. But if you're looking for a long-term relationship, I agree with Dash. It's about the compatibility. It's about feeling comfortable, what you're willing to do. And the world is crazy now. Like I said, you can go anywhere you want online and find somebody just to get your rocks off or have a quickie or whatever.
See, being an old-fashioned woman, if I was attracted to my date, I would love to jump in the sack. However, long-term relationships require, if you want to build a house, you need to build a foundation first. And so because you need to build a foundation first, if you give it up on the first day, that already moves you guys to a deeper level. Here's how it is, guys. I think, and I really believe this is truthful, even though none of us like to hear this, but I think that once you start being intimate, the woman, because we are emotional beings, we think we are deeper into the relationship than we actually are. And I know you guys have slept with the woman who's been messaging you and asking where you're at and when are we going out, and you're trying to blow her off because you already got yours. You're moving on to the next pink one because guys don't really know we're all pink inside. So I think that if you're really looking for a serious relationship or a long-term relationship, it's better to hold off and build it up, because if you jump in the sack the first night, maybe all he wanted to know is if you were pink inside. Maybe he just wanted to get some, and now he's going to move on to the next one, because I've heard that guys like a hard chase. They don't want an easy mystery. The mystery is.
Well, that's.
Ashley, what do you think of that, Ashley?
I'm split, because I personally, I don't see anything wrong with getting someone the first date. but I get where you're coming from because I heard it all the time growing up. Why would the guy buy the cow if he gets the milk for free kind of deal? But to me, I personally, I wouldn't care as long as I felt
Yeah,
really
agree.
attracted to the guy. Groovy, I'm having technical difficulties. Can you mute me for just a second?
Sure.
I feel
Join
Yeah,
us,
thumbs
Barfly,
up
if you
when
can
you
be
want to
muted.
come back.
I
All
feel
right,
like
guys, what do you feel about that?
all men are in the same boat when we want you to either shit or get off the pot, you know?
What do you mean by that?
It's I feel like
Give it up
that's
or
something
get
that
lost?
should be.
Give it up or get lost?
No, I don't think
Is
that's
that
what
what
he's
you're
saying.
saying, Deshaun?
I think it.
Honestly,
You know,
Deshaun,
like
I'm talking to the barfly Deshaun.
Remember, not all men let the little head do the
Wait,
thinking.
wait. No, I don't want to hear from any fly except for Deshaun. Deshaun, you're on the
yes.
hot. Deshaun, explain it.
I feel like I mean it's an unspoken law. Men, we have a goal. Women have like obstacle courses they want to go through. And men are pretty straightforward. So we want you to either shit or get off the pot.
But tell me what you mean by shit or get off the pot. You mean give it up or don't, right?
100%.
Okay. So if a woman wants to wait 5 dates, see if you're worth her time, that she believes that she's worth more than just that you should have to earn her, so to speak. Like you need to let her know she's valuable and get to know her and really want her, really want her to turn her on. How do you feel about that?
If that hasn't happened by the time of the first date, then what's like stopping her? Like what's the holdup? No, you're not going to find out anything about men. Men are straightforward, you know. There's nothing we hide. We're very honest and very open about everything. So whatever you're going to find out by the 5th date, you'll find out by the first date if he's really into you.
I see you in the box there, young lady, Jewel. I see you. Right now, we're in the middle of a show. We're doing Groovy and Ashes.
The Babecave.
These are our 3 barflies, everybody. We're so grateful. Please favorite everybody. This is the Babecave fave party and show. So be faving each other. Write each other's names in there. After the show, we're going to continue the show with a continuation show. So you can come in after that, Jewel. We'd love to have you then. But right now, it's just me and my co-host and our 3 barflies. It's all good. No worries. Okay, I just want to let you know. All right, so I'm curious. Guys, when do you ask? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't let the guys talk. I didn't know they were muted. You guys, I'm so sorry I didn't know they were muted still. When do you guys ask for a second date?
It should just flow with the conversation. If there was nothing, if there was no connection at all during the first date, but if there was, then you would start to talk, and then that would be another like conversation.
Johnny B and Bez, what about the previous question I was asking about sex on the first date?
For me, I've never done the sex on a first date thing. I've had the holding hands and the snuggling and the kissing and that stuff. Never sex on a first date. That's me. I'm old school, but
Respectful man.
I'm respectful. Yes.
I will let men know that if you don't give it up on the first date, that drives a woman crazy. If she wants it and you don't do it, it's going to make her want you even more. So you might want to take that into consideration and not just think with, I want to get me some. What do you think, Johnny? And Ash, did you agree with me?
I'm still split on it.
You're saying that you've had men withhold sex on the first date, like you've
What's that?
thrown yourself at them? I've never. You're saying that you've had men withhold sex on the first date, like you've thrown yourself at them, and they're just like,
Best
no,
friend.
I want to wait.
Yeah, it depends what their religion is. We're not going to bring religion into the show, but Yeah, religion.
I would say that's kind of a rare though. Like a woman's not really,
Yeah.
you know, for a guy to.
Well,
I
I'm not saying I've done that.
agree though.
I'm
That
not
would
saying
drive
that
me
I've done
crazy.
that. I usually am not the one to throw myself at a man. That's not, I don't
Me
need
neither.
Let's face it, we've all been on first dates, and we've all been to the rodeo. I mean, and anything is possible if you're open-minded. You know, if you get the right vibe. Or sometimes
Yeah.
people just say, "Hey, I'd really like a hug," or "Could I have a kiss?" or "Would you hold my hand?" You know, it's just that simple. These
I
things.
kind of.
So,
Sorry, I mean, I kind of disagree with you on that though. Like I wouldn't ask, like, can I kiss you or can I hold your hand? I think it's kind of like like you can kind of tell with their body language, or like a girl starts touching you, you can say, oh, you know.
Yeah,
I don't think women like when you ask, like,
I
is it
do.
okay if I kiss? Like that's like kind of a.
You never
it's kinda
know
like-
what a woman's been through in her life. It is
That's
always
true.
better to ask.
But if you're on a date and you can tell she's kind of reserved and she feels anxious, like I wouldn't go in for a kiss, right? But if she's like fawning on, then you know. I mean, I think that's for me. I don't know.
I think saying, would you mind if I held your hand would be very sweet.
Me too.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
best
something
friend.
sweet. Yeah.
That's what best friend said he would do too. That's pretty cool. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
What about a second date?
But it's also
you're
like
on,
if a guy
you're
just
on a first date. You're not sure if she's digging you or not. So you're not sure if she'd shut you down or not. How do you ask for a second date? Do you wait a couple days and call her? Do you wait a week and call her? Do you ask her on your first date? Seriously, what do you barflies do?
I think I kind of know immediately. Like if the date didn't go well, like I know, boom, it's not gonna be a second date, right?
I don't, because your opinion is me not initiating the first date. So I'd do that. I wouldn't initiate the first date. I'd initiate everything after that.
You would never initiate a first date?
You wouldn't initiate. You wouldn't ask a girl out.
No.
Like I mean, that's a.
Why, Dash?
You want the girl to ask you out then?
If she's interested, yes. I wouldn't ask.
Shouldn't that work both ways though?
See, he drives all the women crazy.
I think it should work both ways because a lot of guys are old-fashioned and they want to be the one to be the leader because guys should lead a relationship, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's.
Some people have not handled rejection well, so that's just how I deal with mine. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
You're a good-looking guy. You're smart. You're.
Very interesting insight, Deshaun.
You know, I mean.
You're selling yourself short, Deshaun.
Yeah.
the one thing that we're leaving out in these discussions is that everybody has their own different personalities and their wants and whatever.
Preferences.
Yeah, exactly. So part of the dating process, the vetting part, where you're, figuring out if you really want to date that person, is asking them questions, what they like. And some people, sometimes I would write this stuff down so I wouldn't forget. Really likes flowers, really likes this kind of stuff or whatever. I mean, because it's all in the details, paying attention to the details.
Women, if you're on a second date or you're talking after your first date or a couple calls before your and you mention something and she's like, oh, like that's a huge thing for women.
Yes.
Where it's like a minor thing. It's like, because to them it's like you are paying attention. You're not just that. And I think the date, like as a guy, or for me at least when I go on dates, I'm not talking about myself. I'm asking her questions, about her. Nobody wants to be on a date where they're just blah, 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 and this, it's not fun.
I call those Starbucks.
Everybody fave each other. It's a fave party. Don't forget to fave each other. Write each other's names in the chat. Fave each other. Sorry.
And fave our hostesses as well as our barflies.
Barflies. So what about if the kids and the animals don't like you? Ashley, let's talk about kids, Ashley. I'm going to pretend they're muted. I'm going to mute them. No, I'm going to mute them. All right, Ashley, I have a question for you. I've done both. I've taken my child or children on dates, on first dates. If you want to go out with me, I'm a package deal, and I brought my kids because I didn't have sitters, or maybe back in the day I couldn't afford sitters, or most likely I just haven't had sitters because it's hard to find a good sitter. It really is. So I've taken my children on dates. Now, there's the preference for me would be to not do that, not allow them to meet my children until I think we have something more solid.
Absolutely.
That would be the likely deal. But what if you have to bring your kid, or they happen to meet your kid when they drop you off, or something of these lines? How do you feel if they automatically don't mesh with your children? When the kids don't like them, or your animals are barking and they're not happy animals?
It's done. It's over.
It's a done deal. It's written
Especially
up,
with children. They have to mesh with your child. They don't have to be best friends, but they have to mesh.
right?
You know?
What about that front door kiss? Talk to me about that, Ashley.
I love the front door kiss. That's my favorite part of the night. Although my current dating ways, I don't allow a man to come over to my home for at least a few dates in, just because I don't want him to know where I live. So I don't get to get the first, front door kiss anymore. But true Kit Kat. But at the same time, kids are the most important.
All right, here's another thing. What about the cheek? Have you ever cheeked somebody? I've cheeked people before. They go in for the kiss, and you just kind of go. If you get cheeked, it's a sure telltale sign that there's no second date, guys. Right?
Yep.
And they still be blowing up your phone, right, girl? They still be blowing up your phone.
Oh, yeah.
Hell no. Hell no. No second date yet. You got cheeked for a reason. I didn't want your bad breath. Speaking of bad breath, what about offering your date some Tic Tacs or some gum, Ashley?
But they can't take. I mean, I understand sometimes things like sinus infections, or they have
the stinky
hereditary tooth infection will make them breath stink. But somebody who just in general does not take care of their mouth hygiene, it grosses me out because we have more bacteria in our mouth than that's on our phones. Like, that's disgusting.
Wow.
So no.
Wow.
I won't even offer them a Tic Tac. That just means they have that much more bacteria in their mouth, and I don't want to kiss that.
I heard something very, very scary not too long ago. It scared the crap out of me. I didn't know that there was such a thing. There is such a thing as mouth worms or mouth bugs or something you can actually get from kissing somebody, where you will get these bugs that will live in your mouth, and it's like having scabies, but in your mouth.
I got itchy all over.
When I learned that, I'm scared to death to kiss anybody now. Like, what if they have that? I don't want to get something like that.
Start itching. Jared, why'd you bring that up?
Ashley.
That kind of stuff is like,
Did
no.
you know there is such a thing?
I didn't.
Yeah, disgusting and scary. Very, very scary. It's made me scared to death to even consider kissing, because, like, if I got mouth worms or whatever it's called, hell no, man. I would want to shoot myself.
Dude. For real.
Okay, Ashley, you're a cigarette smoker, right?
Yes.
Tell the guy, hide it from the guy, or wait until see if there's a little bit, till he gets a little bit connected to you, and then tell the guy.
Never lie. Never lie. Never start a relationship.
Hiding it is not a lie. If you don't,
omitting information to me is lying.
If you don't pull a cigarette out on your first date, that is not a lie. That is
true, but it's not true to who you are.
That's giving respect for your date. You don't want to offend him. So I think not pulling a cigarette out on your first date if you're a smoker is not a lie.
I would rather be a very transparent person right off the bat, and so they could see all of me and be able to say, that's a red flag, I don't like it. And then you go, okay, see you later.
So the right thing for you would be to tell the guy, I'm a cigarette smoker, I'm going to smoke a cigarette. Okay.
Maybe not smoke it on the date, That's to not offend him, but be honest about it up front, even if he doesn't ask.
So if you want a cigarette, that's when would you tell him? How would you tell him?
I usually bring up, because I'm a pot smoker, I bring up that as well, and try and make it both a 2-for-1. Hey, I'm 420 friendly. I also smoke cigarettes. Plus, on dating profiles these days, non-smoker, smoker, occasionally, whatever. You can make it where you don't even have to say anything. They can read the information.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. All right. And one more thing I want to ask you about.
All right.
Nope. I think we should bring the barflies in.
I'm down. I'm about to smoke it up, Jamie.
If the vibes are right, you should know if you're getting that side cheek by the end of that date or not.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I've been saying. It's like you just read the situation. I mean, it's not.
You could save your feelings by not even leaning in for a kiss before you leave that building.
Or what if somebody offered to shake your hand? I've had
Best
that.
friends, you're so far. It's hard to hear you. You got to come closer to your camera if you
I
could.
couldn't hear it. Somebody taking her hand.
You know, I've had a woman. You know, it's the end of the night. I bring her to her door, and she gives me her hand and shake her hand. It was like, oh, okay, that one caught me off guard. I'll shake your hand, sure.
Yeah, there's definitely not a second one.
That's okay. Off you go. So
Yeah,
And
I mean it's tough. It's
Or
like
a side hug.
yeah,
no,
if they are the
Hey, thanks.
shoulders in, hips out. where you're just
Yeah.
like, yeah.
fist
I
bump.
keep my privates away.
Not really gripping, just kind of patting,
if you have to offer your date a Tic Tac, you probably have to offer your date a bar of soap because they don't wash their ass either. You
Oh,
ain't brushing your teeth, you ain't washing your ass.
Okay,
I'll wait till the
Facts.
second or
Not the
third
no
date
butt
for that
wash
though.
thing.
I mean, that's,
I like that one.
although if a lady if they offer you like a piece of gum and you're a smoker, maybe they want to kiss you but they don't like the cigarette thing,
Yeah.
Years ago,
So I mean, it's all situational.
Years ago, a man used to pick up a woman and go on dates. Nowadays, the women are more intimidated that crime could happen to them, so they don't want to disclose their home, and they don't want to get in the man's car. So they usually meet somewhere. In a situation like this,
That's definitely a thing. Yeah.
in a situation like this, do you keep money on you personally? Or
Oh, yeah.
I guess, no, you know what? I'm going to change my question. When and where do you decide what you should wear on your first date, Ashley?
I usually, whenever we decide what we're gonna do, like if we were gonna go bowling, I would wear a certain outfit that would be different than if we were gonna go, say, hiking. I wear tennis shoes and all that kind of stuff. So it really depends on if we go out dancing, like swing dancing or something. I'm gonna wear a dress. So it just really depends on what we're doing.
So
And then I usually just
it's so important that guys tell you what
Yes.
their planned date is. See, now for me, I would like the surprise. I would like a man to show up at my front door, which I don't do anymore, of course, but I would like to meet him somewhere at the restaurant or the bar or something, and say, "Okay, I'm ready. Let's go. I'll follow you," because I want to drive my own car. I'm very, very funny like that. I'm the worst the worst passenger driver you'd ever have in your car. But anyway, I would hope that I was like dressed appropriately. So I would hope that on the phone he would say, "Well, why don't you wear this type of outfit?" Or ask, "What should I wear on our first date?" Because I want the surprise factor.
yeah.
I want to find out when we're pulling up to Top Golf that we're going to Top Golf.
You like spontaneity.
Yeah.
You're a spontaneous kind of girl.
Yeah.
See, I'm a planner. I'm the opposite. I have to know what's going on to feel safe, personally. to be able to tell my friends where I'm going. This is exactly where I'm going, when I'm going, to be there, etc. So
Definitely on a first
yeah,
date, like you.
I'm very much a planner.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's rude.
You're okay,
Like, yeah, I think it's like inconsiderate, right? Because women really. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think it's inconsiderate to be like, oh, I'm gonna take you on a date, because yeah, they don't know where the hell they're going. But it could be, you could say, hey, let's grab drinks, maybe that, or we're gonna grab dinner. So you kind of know what you're doing, but maybe you don't know the spot, or
Right.
you do like, hey, we're gonna meet here, and then you do something spontaneous after, right? I mean, you can still kind of have a little bit
Or
of both.
just say, hey, we're going to be doing something like going out to dinner somewhere, dress, casual, or dress this, you can give her a heads up. Hey, we're going to go somewhere fancy, dress up a little bit. Or we're going to do something kind of chill, so it'll be casual.
Bring a sweater.
I think it's more like a second, third, later on dating. You're not doing that on the first.
What's up, best friends?
I agree with what everybody's saying, and I've always said, hey, we're going out, to this place or whatever, and it's going to be cold. Please bring a jacket or a sweater, or I bring a jacket, and if it's cold, I take my jacket off and give it to my date. That's what men, gentlemen.
I always keep a second jacket or hoodie in my car, like.
Do you really?
You know.
Do you really?
That is so sweet.
Absolutely.
That's hot.
That is really cool.
But it's just little things like that make a big difference,
One of these.
Aha! We approve of this message.
Well, Johnny keeps the second hoodie in his car in case your date wants to knock over a 7-Eleven with you. You put
And
the
a ski mask.
and a ski mask.
Hey,
yeah, what a fun first date. We knocked off at 7-Eleven.
How's that for spontaneity, Groovy?
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. I was curious, Ashley. Why is it if you do give it up on the first date and you go on a couple dates and you give it up, you're getting some action, right?
Yeah.
You the shit or you the slut?
I think that double standard.
Gets a lot of action is known as a slut or a whore. But a man who gets a lot of action is the man. Do you think that's fair that a woman is looked at as a slut when a man is like the shit?
I hate double standards.
It's not right. It's not
horrible.
right, actually. It's so fucked up. I don't even like the F word in my stream.
But now they're called fuck boys. Those kind of guys.
Wow. So what do you think about that?
I think there should definitely not be a double standard. You don't know the situation, the connection they had. They could have very well slept on the first date and got married and been married for 60 years. You don't know the situation. You don't know if he wooed her into it, was sneaky, you don't know. So you should never call a woman a slut for giving it up.
Right. All right, let's hear what the barflies think about the slut or the man. Because like I said, it's so interesting how a girl's reputation can run around as a whore if she's getting lots of action. And yet the guy is he's never looked at it as a slut. He's looked at it as a player, but he's a man. He gets respect and props from his homeboys, but the guys be calling one chick one nasty ass hoe. All right, guys.
Yeah.
If this is pertaining to dating, then both of those actions are slut for either party. But men and women, I think, are very open and honest with what they want. So if that's all they want, then they have that title. But if it's for a date, then nah, I don't think that.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm not understanding Deshaun Fly.
So if a man sleeps around with goes on a date with the intention of only sex, then he's in fact a slut. But if it's a date that if he's interested in I'm sorry for saying woman. If he's interested in the other party, then that's not a slut action. By
So
the
if you're
man or the
willing to
woman.
go on a second date, then it's okay to be intimate the first date if you're willing to go on a second date
If you really want to be with that person.
because you had so much chemistry together.
I
Is that what
agree.
you're saying, Deshaun?
Yes.
Best friends, Johnny.
You know, it's difficult enough. You know, you have to decide what you want. Are you that stage in your life where you just want sex and crave sex? And you're not interested in a relationship, so you just go out and you have sex with whoever you're attracted to and fulfill your needs? Or are you at that stage in your life where sex is not the most important?
Very well put, best friends.
I'm sorry?
That's very well put.
Yeah, you know, so you have to decide. Is it good? Am I just out there to have sex, or am I looking for a relationship where, as you so brilliantly said earlier, there's a foundation that's being built and you're earning that person's trust and respect, and then you have sex? I mean, you know, there's all different kinds of situations. It's a whole dichotomy of different things. And at different stages in your life, you're into different things, right? I've been married twice. I'm 60 years old. I have a 20-year-old. So I've been through all these different stages. And yes, when you're younger, you want to go out and conquer the world. That sometimes means sexually too, you know, and we're more promiscuous. But when we get older, we're even more picky because we've had these experiences and we know what we really want and the person that we're really looking for.
You know, I think that I'd like to take a moment and talk to the Barfly HR. HR has made quite a few interesting comments.
Okay.
HR doesn't want a female that gives it up to everyone in town. HR also mentioned that sex is supposed to be an extension of love, not a lustful exchange. So HR, I have a question for you out in the audience, my Barfly in the audience. What about how long would you wait to be intimate with your date then? At what point do you decide to go from dating to intimacy, HR? You don't have sex on the first date then. So at what point, how do you know when it's appropriate to finally walk over that threshold? Go ahead, Johnny, while HR is typing.
I think it's kind of arbitrary to say, oh, well, you know what it is on the third date, or it's okay. Where the issues really come into play, it's your responsibility. If you're dating, it's your responsibility to know what you're looking for, right? Your emotions, your feelings, your wants, desires, that's your responsibility, right? If you're both into the same thing, then the issue only really comes up, in my opinion at least. Yeah, if you're having sex on the first date and you're both into it, fine. The issue is if the guy's being deceitful and saying, oh, well, I like you so much, and he's like trying to, you know,
Yeah.
and then lies to you and then doesn't call you back. But if you both hit it off, you both really like each other, that's fine. You can have sex on the first date and keep dating, you know. For me, I think that it's not.
If I go out with 5 guys in 1 week and I like all of them, so I bring every one of them home?
That's your decision, but that's your decision. You're being honest with yourself. You know you're dating and what you're looking for or what you're not, right? These are your decisions as a female or a male, right?
Yeah, but if you knew you're going to go out with a girl that you knew that went out with 4 of your friends and slept with all of them, why would you not look at her as a slut, or would you look at her as a slut, or would you not look at her as a slut?
She's a human being.
Let's be honest, guys.
I wouldn't look at her as a slut.
Guys, what guys really think, not what I'm putting in your head now.
I'm being honest with you. Yeah, it does kind of devalue. I mean, it is a double standard, absolutely. But the thing is, a woman can go out to a bar, or you could walk up to any guy and say, hey, you want to have sex? Boom. Like probably 4 out of 5, 8 out of 9 out of 10 guys would just, yeah, all right. A guy can't do that. You know, it's a challenge. Like you were saying, the chase, that's a big part of it because it's seduction. It's okay. That's a guy has to do a lot more. A woman can just boom, get laid. You go to a bar any night and pick up a guy. A guy, it's a lot more for a guy. He might go to a bar. Twice a week for a year and not get laid. If he has no game, if he smells funky, he's, you know what I'm saying? A woman can boom get laid.
Right.
That's
because
what
the
difference is.
woman has a better orgasms when she hits an emotional connection with somebody than a physical connection.
Yes.
A woman can reach a serious orgasm if there is a physical connection. I mean, an emotional connection, which is why you guys should hold her off on the first date. Don't give it up when she wants it, because that just builds a passion. Let her know how bad you want her, but you respect her so much. You're not going to take it on this third date. You want to see her soon. But you want to go.
You're asking like why
Be honest.
That will
why
drive
is a
a
girl
woman
slut
that
if she
shit
sleeps around
crazy,
fun?
little flies.
I agree with that statement, Groovy. If you would tell her, listen, I want you more than words,
Oh, God.
but I'm holding off
Crazy.
because I respect you. Oh my
It'll be
gosh.
better sex. The longer you wait, the better the sex will be if you two really, 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 really want to get together.
You could have, but I mean, you could really, really want each other and have incredible sex the first night.
You know,
I mean, have you not had incredible orgasms and great sex?
Well, you know, I've got a lot more experience than everybody in here except for best friends. And I would say that that if you wait, it does get better and better and better.
But sometimes people like they're married for
Otherwise,
20 years and they have
Otherwise,
less
it's
sex
the act
and it
of
gets
getting
worse.
laid. It really is. If you don't have a deep emotional connection, it's just the act of getting laid. You know, and then if he's got a small dick, he'll have no chance for a second date. So that's a risk you guys need to do.
I'm out of here. Thank you.
That's why I said you have to be compatible at every level.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to touch
Well,
a top.
what about love at first sight then? Right?
That's called lust at first sight. There is no such thing as love at first sight.
You don't believe in love at first sight?
No, not even a little bit.
It's lust. It's a four-letter word that starts with an L, but it's lust.
You know,
You can't. To love someone, you have to have a deep connection with them, and you can't have that when you first lay eyes on them.
You have to know somebody to get to know. If you
Yeah.
love
But
them.
there's a difference between seeing someone that, oh yeah, I've
Attraction, strong attraction at first sight.
I want to just go back to what Groovy said about
One
laying.
second. I'm going to interrupt everybody for 1 second. Remember what you're going to say, best friends. I'll come right back to you after we acknowledge HR's answer. He said at least 2 weeks and a few dates after I know her and the people she deals with. That was going to be one of my other things. I was going to ask Ashley, at what point do we introduce our dates to our children and to our friends and to our families?
Girl, once we feel comfortable enough with